Mr. President, you have mentioned that the U.S. is your traditional ally. At the same time, as we can see, your country has drastically reshaped its foreign policy. It used to be unilaterally oriented towards the U.S., and right now the foreign policy is multilateral, multi-vector, and Russia holds an important place in that regard. You've also managed to improve and reinforce your relations with China. How did you do that?
In the first place, we have been a colony of Spain, then really the United States. Altogether, Spain had about 300 years and 50 years under the yoke of imperialism by the United States. It's all water under the bridge. And we have been prepared to do the governance that we decide. Over the years, I have seen that the foreign policy of the Philippines always tailored that of the United States. And we can hardly go to some, at that time, communist countries just to explore trade and commerce. It was looked upon by the American government as not the present one, not a new development that would make them happy. And during my time, I was at a loss where to go. I did have contacts. I was not really expected to win the presidency. As a matter of fact, during the last week of the elections, I was in the number 4. But the week before the elections, my rating shot up to 32, and so I won by a landslide. Now I wanted something more than just what a new country can give us. And even in the purchase of arms and the things that they have given us, some were good, some were bad. And products, air assets that were given to us were refurbished from NATO, then given to us. And a week after, 3 of those we bought from them, crashed, killing all my pilots and crew, 6 helicopters. And that was the time that I was also criticized heavily by the human rights of the United States Congress. And then, to my surprise, even the Human Rights Commission. You know, during the time of 2 presidents ago, we were told by the United States itself that if we do not take care, if we do not watch out, our country will be swallowed by drugs. And it came to pass with about 2 presidents. And we saw mayors, city mayors, and the chairman of the most basic unit of government, 50,000 into drugs. And when I took over, I found out that 9 generals were involved in the trafficking of drugs. I said, I'm not only fighting corruption from the inside the government, I was fighting corruption and the trafficking of drugs, even in my government. And that is why I had to do something very bad. And now people say that my pronouncement actually encouraged everybody to kill the drug lords and drug addicts. You know, frankly, I would be happy to if that thing happened. And I enunciated the role when I became president. And that was also the same role when I was mayor 20 years in a city. And I said that I'm going to build a comfortable city, a safe city, a city where you can walk. And I asked the police, ask your wife and children to walk the streets at night. If they come home unmolested, unbridled by worries, not victims of mugging and crimes, because there were so many addicts on the streets. And I said, I want that kind of environment. Then I proceeded. That I would pose to the entire community of the world. Is it wrong for a president to say that do not destroy my country, especially the children, because I will kill you? And that was my order to the armed forces and to the police. And right now, even as I fly here and go back, there are about, again, 2 generals who are still playing with that. And I said, well, I told you, do not destroy my country because it is being flooded with so many families created and become dysfunctional. You only have to have one addict in the family and the entire family collapses, becomes a socially disorganized unit. And I had to act fast. And the human rights are accusing me of murdering 70, now it's 20, now it's 7. So let me explain. These human rights guys are very eager to see a dead carcass of a criminal, a drug lord, a city mayor. And they would question me, why was he killed? Or despite of the evidence of drugs all over the house. And one house of a certain mayor that was killed had paper walls stick with 500 pesos. It was made as a reward inside. And so I said, well, I said, I warn you, do not do it, because I will kill you. But I also ordered the military and the go out and dismantle the organized crime of drug trafficking. And if you find your life in danger, I will order you to shoot them. Rather see a policeman or a soldier dead. In Marawi Rebellion, it started with a drug thing. And so it was rebellion because almost everybody of that race, which was really the laboratory of the entire Philippines, where drug was produced and people had money. Can see no business there except the store. And yet, there was one in another city that 100 cars, 2 Lamborghinis and so many imported. And yet, the human rights would still insist on a wrong provision. So I told them, I'm sorry. But if there is something, I told you dismantle. And in the process, you did. And I said to the world, and to the United Nations, and to everybody, I take responsibility for all of the consequences of this drug war. I and I alone. If someday somebody has to be harmed, I will be happy. I would even put the noose on my knife and say, go ahead. Or if you want to shoot me in the Paris one, fine. Our national hero died before Paris one. That would be an honor for me to be the same in this situation. But I do not aspire for honor. I do not aspire to be known. I'm just a citizen, a worker of government. And I will do what it needs, what I have to do to protect people, especially the next generation. And that is what I have been known. They're always threatening me with bringing me to the... that would be the day. We have courts in my country. The judges are independent. The prosecutors do not talk to me. And so I said, everybody, who will answer for this? I will, but you have to do your job. And I have fired so many prosecutors and judges because corruption was eroding the very foundation of government. And I said, that was I came up with this statement. Little did I know that I will not only be fighting the criminals, the drug lords, the kidnappers. I was fighting men in my own government and the corruption that drugs do. Drugs cannot prosper. I tell you, unless the military and the police would allow. If the city mayor in my city, if I say, do not do it, and if you have been to the Philippines, do not look at the carcass of the criminals. You get nothing. Look at the many thousands of families that are socially dysfunctional people. If you want to destroy your enemy, feed one of his children with drugs, and you do, the family goes apart. I am faced with the job of the human rights and the criminals. I have no business. I have no universal right to destroy a fellow human being. I do not allow the military to shoot a person ag-tight or with stretched hand instrument. I told them that the only way that you can kill criminals, the drug lords and the addicts, is when your life is in danger. So shoot first before you die. Because if I go to the scene of the crime and I see that you are the one dying, I will kick you and finish you off for being stupid. Do not allow government to weaken by such. You have to impose on them. And so that is what really bugs. So the government of the United States, before the, I could only have 2 minutes. If I can have 2 minutes, then I'll tell you what. The rifles, we have the longest insurgency problem, communist insurgency problem, arms struggle. It has killed so many people. And the rifles were, it has fired so many rounds, it becomes useless. There is no more